This episode is packed full of wisdom on ancient Greece.
Learning can be
fun!
If you like learning in exciting and engaging ways, then Talking Study Guides is for you. I'm Mr. C, and let's get started. The Olympics started in ancient Greece, but when they began, there was only one event, the foot race. Back then, there were no medals, but the winner would get a wreath made from the branch of a sacred olive tree. The Olympics are one of the many gifts that we got from the ancient Greeks.
About 2,800 years ago, the ancient Greeks were out there making history. Is it their love of theater that we will remember the most? Is it the stories of the mythical gods and goddesses that they believed in? Or is it the words of wisdom from Socrates, who taught us that in order to find true happiness, we must start by knowing ourselves? Ancient Greece is one of the most influential civilizations of all time, and it's pretty easy to see why.
The Greeks took their academics very seriously, and teachers were greatly respected. The Greeks were very advanced in the areas of math, science, and astronomy. The Greeks also valued the importance of critical thinking, and philosophers loved to explore deep and profound questions.
I've discovered the meaning of life.
All right, there you go.
Here's a fun fact. The word philosophy means love of wisdom. Philosophers often give views or theories on ethics, as well as give insight to life's most challenging questions. Many famous philosophers in history came from Greece, including Plato, Aristotle, and Socrates.
If you find yourself asking questions like, what is my purpose in life? Why is the sky blue? And who invented tic-tac-toe? You'd probably make the Greek philosophers very proud.
Well done.
The ancient Greeks kept in really good shape, and they truly valued the importance of physical fitness. 99, 100.
Yes. Great work. Now 100 more. Persians are coming.
The Greeks had a pretty good sense of fashion, and they wore a type of clothing called tunics. Pretty comfy. The ancient Greeks weren't afraid to speak their minds, and they loved a good debate. Kalamata olives are the best olive in all of Greece.
You've never tried the plum olive, my friend. Much better olive.
Clearly, your taste buds are mistaken. Kalamata are the best.
Plum are the best.
Kalamata?
Plum.
Oh, give me a break. I don't even hear
Plum.
you anymore.
Plum.
Oh, that's
Plum.
the chair. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to walk away.
Similar to the location of Greece today, ancient Greece was located in southern Europe, and its geography was very unique. Mainland Greece was a peninsula, which means that it was surrounded by water on 3 sides. In addition to the mainland, ancient Greece also included many islands. The ancient Greeks were no strangers to the sea, and they were impressive sailors, fishermen, and shipbuilders. Ancient Greece was also very mountainous, and because of its many natural barriers, ancient Greece was divided into different city-states. A couple famous Greek city-states were Sparta and Athens. City-states had different rules of how they lived and how their people were governed. For example, Sparta was a city-state that placed a large focus on its military. Women had more rights in Sparta, and the city-state of Sparta was ruled by 2 kings who would serve their people until they died or were forced out.
The city-state of Athens placed a large emphasis in the areas of philosophy, science, and the arts. Athens is known to be the birthplace of democracy. The ancient Athenians were credited with starting a form of government called a direct democracy.
In the direct democracy that the Athenians created, Athenian citizens would get to vote on important issues that affected their city-state. Although this sounds inclusive, there were a lot of people that lived in Athens who were not allowed to vote. Only adult males with 2 Athenian parents that had completed their military training could vote. Women, children, foreigners, and slaves were not allowed to vote in ancient Athens. Athens and Sparta were 2 Greek city-states that operated very differently, and sometimes they would not get along and would battle with each other. Although keeping the peace was an ongoing challenge, the Greek city-states would often join forces if they were under attack from an outside enemy.
Greek soldiers were known to be tough, fearless, and incredible warriors. Many times in history, they overcame incredible odds and were victorious. I don't know how you did it. The ancient Greeks were polytheistic, which means that they believed in many different gods and goddesses.
The Greek gods and goddesses were believed to have special powers and abilities, and the ancient Greeks lived their lives trying to please them. Just to name a few, there was Poseidon, who's the god of the sea, Hades, god of the underworld, and Zeus, who was king of the Greek gods and father of the mighty Hercules. Many of these mythical gods and goddesses were thought to live at the top of Mount Olympus, which is the tallest mountain in all of Greece. In addition to worshiping their many gods, the ancient Greeks constructed temples and statues in their honor. Perhaps the most famous building created by the ancient Greeks is the Parthenon. The Parthenon was built on a limestone hill above the city of Athens in an area called the Acropolis of Athens. The Parthenon was built to honor Athena, who was the goddess of wisdom and war.
Ancient Greek architects often designed buildings by using columns. The columns could support a great deal of weight, and many buildings that were built in ancient Greece have stood the test of time.
There were 3 kinds of columns that they were known for: Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian. Doric was the most basic, and Corinthian was the most elaborate. Greek styles of architecture have been greatly admired as well as copied by many different countries around the world. Many buildings in America are modeled after famous buildings that originated in ancient Greece. In terms of food that they ate, the ancient Greeks had a relatively healthy diet. Bread, fish, and cheese were popular foods to eat. The ancient Greeks also ate a lot of vegetables and fruits, like figs and olives. Growing food in ancient Greece was not easy, and ancient Greek farmers faced the challenge of planting crops in very rocky soil. The Greeks wisely used the large rocks they removed from the ground to construct buildings, temples, and sculptures. Another challenge for ancient Greek farmers was that Greece was very hilly and mountainous, which made it harder to grow crops. To combat this, ancient Greeks used a method called terrace farming. This means that they built steps into the slopes of mountains and hillsides in order to grow crops. The practice of terrace farming greatly reduced erosion and helped prevent crops from flooding.
One of the most influential people in ancient Greek history was named Alexander the Great.
Alexander the Great was born in 356 BC in the Kingdom of Macedonia, and as a boy he studied under the famous philosopher Aristotle. At a young age he developed into a talented military leader and united the Greek city-states. During his time as king, Alexander the Great created a massive empire and conquered many lands, including Persia and Egypt. The famous city Alexandria, located in Egypt, was in fact built by and named after Alexander the Great.
I hope you're up for some friendly competition, because it's your turn to show how much you know about ancient Greece.
Question 1. A famous Greek building that was created to honor the goddess Athena is called the Colosseum, the Agora, the Parthenon, or the Forum? If you said Parthenon, you're correct. Question 2. The king of the mythical Greek gods was Hercules, Poseidon, Artemis, or Zeus? The answer is Zeus. Question 3. Which Greek city-state started the world's first democracy? Athens, Sparta, Corinth, or Macedonia? If you chose Athens, you got it. Question 4. What did the winner of the first Olympics receive? A gold medal, a silver medal, a fish, or an olive wreath? If you chose an olive wreath, awesome job!
Whether you're building something with your hands, watching the Olympics, or learning neat things about Greek mythology, there's something special when you're learning about Greek culture that ties it all together. As a celebration for the completion of our video, tonight I'll be having Greek food for dinner. Tzatziki is a hard word to spell, but an easy food to enjoy. Stuffed grape leaves called dolmas are my personal favorite. I love finishing a meal with some Greek yogurt. It's so good, even the big guy likes it.
Nostimo.
Delicious, I agree.
And stop.
Huh?
Those were not bad for an Athenian. Try again. Thank you for joining us to learn about ancient Greece.
Thanks, friends, and be sure to tune in next time.
You, back to work.
Sorry.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks for watching.